Today we're going to make poison soup for the garden fungus. And for that, we need a couple of things. Rainwater that I put in this jug, measuring cup, an empty jug, a funnel, a teaspoon measure and a tablespoon measure, turmeric, some natural dish soap, which means it doesn't have a whole bunch of nasty chemicals in it. It's derived from plants. And lastly, a small sprayer for the garden. I'm making this mixture because I need a way to kill the fungus in my garden. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen me just lament over how my garden was so big and it was just so green and lush. And then over the past couple of weeks, between the heat that we've had, because we're in zone 9A in the south, the heat that we've had, the rain that we've had, the plants are just taking it tough. So most of the green big leaves on my cucumbers went away. I had to cut those away. I'm seeing some browning of my tomato leaves. I'm seeing my pepper plants take it tough. And I can't do too much about the heat every day, but what I can do is control the health of the soil. I'm pretty much convinced that it is fungus because of the behavior of all the plants and what that behavior is in common, regardless of the species. So this is something that we have to solve. For this recipe, use rainwater. I gather it. I just have 5-gallon buckets you can get at the home supply store. But when it does rain, I put them in proximity of where rain runs off a certain part of the house. I don't put them out right away because the first 15 minutes of rain is going to be stuff that's washing off of your roof. And I don't necessarily want to gather all that. It could be bird droppings. It's just general dust in the air. By the time 15 minutes goes by with a steady rain, it'll wash most of that stuff away. So anyway, I strategically placed that bucket where the water is going to be running off one of the small roofs on the side of our house. We have spouting, so I can't take advantage of that yet. I'm going to build something. But what I have right now is the small roofs that are over the back door and over our side door. They do have a lip, and the water runs off the end of that. So I just gather that rainwater. Then when it's full, and after the rain stops, I put a lid on it, and I set it in the yard someplace that doesn't get direct sun all the time. When I need that water then, because it doesn't have any chlorine or anything in it, then I can just go fill up a watering can and I can use it for the garden. By the way, if you don't have access to catch this water running off your house, if you just use hose water, which is coming off the grid, and if you're not on a well, chances are it does have chlorine in it. If you fill up a 5-gallon bucket and you let it sit open, most of that chlorine will evaporate out of it. So anyway, this is rainwater. We're going to use that. So for this recipe, we're using turmeric, which is a spice that fungus does not like. It inhibits the growth of the fungus. It doesn't necessarily kill it, but when it can't grow, the fungus dies. So that's what turmeric is good for. The natural soap that we have is good for making this mixture stick to things. And the fact that it's natural means that it's not going to be all toxic and get in your plants. And mixing them all together in a solution and then diluting it in the remaining part of the water that's in this gallon is what's going to give you a really good mix. This particular recipe is good for using in the sprayer. So that's what we're going to start with. So to start, we're going to use 1 cup of this rainwater. You're going to take 1 tablespoon of turmeric. And 1 teaspoon of this natural dish soap. I'm going to switch it around so I get all the soap off the spoon. Then I'm going to show you a trick. I learned this from Alton Brown on Good Eats. You take your whisk. You always buy a whisk that's got a rounded handle like this, not a flat one. Then you put the whisk in your liquid, and you just spin it between your fingers, or between your palms. Now I guess you could use an electric beater if you wanted to, but this works really well. So with that mixed, you take your jug, the empty jug, and you pour it in. There's hardly any non-dissolved turmeric in there, but I'm still going to rinse that out and keep it. I'm going to use some of this water. To rinse the rest of that out. We've got this started. I'm gonna rinse out my funnel so I get most of the yellow off of it. Now we're gonna add the rest of this water. By the way, if this has been sitting outside for a while, this water, before you bring it in, let it cool off a little bit, because you don't want to put anything warmer than rainwater on your plants, because it'll cook the roots. So I'm going to let that foam settle down, and then I'm going to pour the rest of this water in, and then we're going to take this and put it in the sprayer. I'm going to turn it upside down and just check, make sure there's no particulates in there and it all absorbed into it. And I don't see any. So the Alton Brown method of using a whisk works pretty well. Now let's put it in our sprayer. There's the gallon. I'm going to save this because I'm probably going to need more to come back in and make it. All right, let's see outside. I'm going to start on the tomato plants first. These are the ones that I come out and find new dead leaves on every day. It's mid-morning, mid to late morning, so the sun's not too bright back here yet. I would not do this in direct sunlight. It's kind of overcast anyway. But, so here's our mixture. And I'm just going to lightly spray the tops. And then I'm going to come around and do the bottoms of the leaves. By the way, this isn't harmful to pollinators because the soap is so mild. I want to save my poor tomatoes. Their fruit has been affected by this heat wave and rain. Just want them to live. This garden sprayer, by the way, is just kind of getting any department store. They're under 20 bucks. I'll put a link in the description. Other gardeners have told me that this is supposed to work relatively quickly too. In the course of a couple of days, you'll see big changes. The thing about being in zone 9A agriculturally is that you have a really long growing season. That's the good thing. The bad thing is the heat. These are the plants I'm worried the most about because this had the biggest canopy of nice green leaves. And then they weren't. But the new leaves that are coming up underneath seem to be a little more healthy. Oops. Sorry, Ms. Bumblebee. Oh. Not in the same way. Taking care of a garden is a lot like taking care of kids. You can give them the best treatment possible and look out for them, but they're still going to get sick. I'm getting the vines, I'm getting the leaves, I'm getting the fruit. Get the other side of this. Somebody's sending me messages. I think that's sufficient for this. Then we move further down the bed. My basil plant hasn't really been affected too much. Most of the Japanese beetles are gone now, but I can see that my other herbs are turning a little yellow, so we'll treat those. Now my zucchini and peppers. Give my marigolds a little love too. I've taken it pretty tough. They get water. Give my pumpkins some love too. I think the peppers have taken it the hardest after the cucumbers. I have plans to plant new ones if these don't make it. And they were just watered this morning, so that's not it. The sun is hot. And I'll show you something. Proof that I think this is fungus is that, okay, here's the old growth that's affected and it's all yellow. Proof is this. Here's the old growth that's all yellow. You can tell all these have turned yellow and look like they're just passing away. However, new growth is not. Those are peppers coming from the same plant over here. Those are pepper leaves. And these leaves on the same plant are unaffected. So that's why I think it's fungus. The yellow squash. Now I'm going to do a root mixture. And I'll come back out. For this new mixture, it's going to be a little different. There are two ways that you can do this whole mix for different purposes. One, you can add some regular whole milk to it, which has a lot more nutrition in it. Even the Amish take spoiled milk and they put it on crops. So the turmeric does one thing, and it's what kills the fungus or prevents it from growing. The milk in this root mixture is really good for the nutrition of it. So all we're doing is replacing the first step with a cup of milk. But everything else is the same. Tablespoon of turmeric. And to prevent the frothing, I'm going to do my whole mixing trick first. The frothing came from the soap. So there's a little froth in there, but not like it was with the soap. And for the soap, again, it's just 1 teaspoon. And I'll stir that around a little bit with this measuring spoon to get the soap off with a spoon. I don't see too many more solids in the bottom of there. Should be fine. And to our empty jug, I'm going to do a proper bar pour so that I don't end up with more foam. You can see that there. And use some of my tempered rainwater to wash this out so we get as much as possible. And then top it off with as much water as I can fit in this jug. And then we're going to mix it up a little bit. Well, I still got the froth in there, but that's okay. I'll dilute the rest with the leftover water that I've got here if I empty this out. I just want to turn it upside down so that I can make sure that the solids are mixed well enough. Now we're going to take this jug and we're going to put it in the watering can outside. I'll take out the rest of what I had to rinse out the jugs with. I'll pour that in the watering can too. But the main ingredients are there and they're not too diluted. We're going to start with the pepper plants and the squash. Kind of weird seeing that yellow liquid come out of there. Pumpkins, whose roots are under here. A little love for marigolds, a little love for my Let's add parsley. Some for the chive, little onions, and that's that. Go mix up another batch. Now we're gonna put some of this gorgeous yellow juice on the cucumber roots. Go to the other side. Give some love to the marigolds and the tomatoes. Again, I watered these earlier, so this fertilized treatment is just going to wick down and follow the water that I put in there. And then I'm going to add some to my peppers that are slightly yellow. More proof that I don't think that it's direct sun. I think that it is this fungus, because these are in the shade over here. And that's it for that batch. Experiment continues. Let's see what they look like in a couple of days. Here's hoping.